thank you for taking this opportunity to come in and hang out with us and hang out with everybody. This is probably the most amazing Mixed Monday that I have had an opportunity to do since we've been doing these. Let me bring my music down too, so we can rock and roll and get into it. So man, this has been a really dope opportunity to one, collaborate with you guys, with you on this class, and to have you here in the building live with us for this Mixed Monday. Man, how you feeling today?
I'm good. You know, every Monday's a mixed Monday for me, so I'm here for it. Let's do it.
That's true. That's true. This is true, man. Man, so you're working on some pretty solid things right now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was spending my morning doing some mix tweaks and got to finish up this afternoon a mix I started on Friday. So yeah, it's a fun day. It's a good day.
Fun day, man.
Yes.
Man, in the
Yeah.
blast in the blast experience, man. It's so dope to have you in here, man. So yeah, we got a lot of people that showed up today for us. So if you guys don't know, we just released, I mean, like right now, live. You can go get it right now. Jon Blass is The Art of Mixing Gospel Masterclass. Let me get back over to this is actually the behind the scenes part. Let me get back over here so you guys can actually see. We don't want to show you guys. We don't want to show you guys too. I'm trying to get you guys over here. Should have had that click queued up. The Art of Mixing Gospel. We pulled this in with Blass in collaboration with him. He is a Grammy Award winning engineer. We got over 6 hours of video lessons, and we got some really dope bonus stuff that is going to be included with this class that we're going to talk about here today. That's going to be really dope, man. So yeah, it's been really cool, man. We've been working on this for what, man? I know we started on this
Too long.
we started on this. I don't remember. It was during the pandemic because I remember we had masks on trying to film this because it was one of those things like, you know, I think we looked at the CDC guidelines. It's like, okay, we can have 10 in a room. Technically, it's only 2 of us. And if we social distance, we could get this going. And so I remember Blast literally, we would have the mask. I had the mask on the entire time we were filming the first part of it. And I remember Blast, he would pull the mask off and he would talk and he would do whatever he's going to do. And then like literally as soon as I said, all right, cut, the mask just goes back on. And we tried to make that happen and we had some delays. We won't dig too deep into those. We had some things that kind of happened in the back end that kept us from getting that part out. And delayed us heavily on that. And then we had to go back and do some reshoots, which has led us to where we are finally getting to the finish line on this and being able to release this body of work to you guys. And we're super excited to be in that, man. All right, how about you, man? What you think? How do you feel about how this process has been?
You know, I don't know. 2021 was the height of the pandemic anxiety and all that, and it was stressful. And
Yeah.
I think some of that content we got was so good, and I'm glad we're using it. And also, I was really thankful for the chance to do it again and
Yeah.
consider some of that a good practice round. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think we got a great song to work with this time that really showcases some things
Yeah.
that are valuable for the viewer and hopefully kind of gain some really great insights to how I tackled that kind of record. So yeah, of course it took longer than we wanted it to, and we had some delays, and also I think it provides value, and that's what matters. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Next, I
excited
think
about
somebody
this.
said
It's
we
a good
had a
release.
delay when you're talking. Can you guys is it still a delay? Let me know if you guys are still hearing a delay. Say something, Blast.
Check, check. Hey, is there still a delay?
Is there still a delay? Hey, man, you know this is live stuff, man. It happens.
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly what that was. Then I had to turn something down over here. it's probably bleeding in some audio from my monitors. I don't have my headphones on. I couldn't grab my headphones yet. All right, it's better now. All right, so now we can rock and roll. I'm sorry, you know, we're audio professionals, right? We mix audio all day, right? You know, audio is fundamental to what we do on a daily basis, right? We'll keep we'll keep trying with
we'll keep
that.
trying.
Yep. So we wanted to give you guys a couple of sneak peeks into the class, The Art of Mixing Gospel, because again, we've been working on this for almost 3 years now. And so really want to really showcase what you guys are going to get, and we're going to talk a little bit deeper into it. So first of all, I want to play, I think I got the trailer in here. No, I don't have the trailer loaded up. Shoot. That's cool. You guys already seen the trailer. If you're here, you've probably seen the exclusive trailer. So we'll play that one later. I got this section I want to play from, and this is a part of the class. This section that I'm going to play is actually a section from the class. And this is Blass talking about giving advice for up and coming mixing engineers. And we filmed this during the pandemic. So you're going to see pandemic Blass, you know, with pandemic hair and a little bit of different setup, because this was before your Atmos setup, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
But you was just, I think you was in the entry level of trying to figure this out. But you didn't have any speak. You just had the regular 2 speakers, which I have back there now. Those are Blass's speakers.
Yes.
My
A7Xs. Yeah.
Yep. He sold them and I picked them up. I was not going to let that sit, you know, in his back room and collect dust if I could help it. But okay, so we're gonna play this section for you guys, and then we're gonna talk about it because you guys are gonna like this. So here we go.
I wanted to give a couple pieces of advice or direction for those of you, especially that are starting out and just learning about mixing, but hopefully gives even more experienced mixers and producers things to think about when you're creating. One is to constantly be zooming back out mentally. It's very easy to get bogged down in something very small, like the EQ on a hi-hat or the snare drum sound is the classic example. And you have to be able to zoom in and hone in on those things and really pick them apart, but you have to then be able to zoom back out and say, okay, but in the context of what we're doing here, in the context of what the song is supposed to feel like and supposed to sound like, what do I need to do? It's easy to get hyper focused on the keyboard track and feel like, man, I'm really got a great mix here. And then you come back 3 weeks later and hear it and you're like, oh geez, like this is all about the piano? Where are my drums? Where are my vocals? Like you have to be able to, and it's a practice thing. You're gonna get better at it as you do it, but you have to be able to zoom in, hyper focused on something, and then zoom back out, put it back in context all day long, a lot. There's things I do to help that process. One of those is put it on the little speakers, and you know, where it's not directly in front of me. I'm not listening in a perfect stereo image. It's off to my side. It's not as high fidelity. It's typically quiet, and just, you know, scroll through Instagram and be like, wait, where did the vocal go? Why am I missing that? And then don't get lost in Instagram, but come back and fix that. And that's, I don't know, one technique. Sometimes you just need to go eat lunch and come back to it. But also just constantly throughout your day, every move you make, you're zooming in, zooming back out, zooming in, zooming back out. So that would be one big piece of advice. Second piece of advice is to study great music. And I mean of all genres and of all styles. And if you're making a live record, yeah, study other great live records, other great gospel records for sure, and other great worship albums, yes. But listen to other music too, and it's going to spark your creativity in a different way. It's going to give you more focus on how to improve what you're doing. because we don't want to just copy what so-and-so did. We want to bring something new to the table. We want to make everything better. We want to elevate this style. We want to elevate this genre. We want to elevate that song that you're working on. So whether you're producing or mixing, listen to other music and study it. Listen to what is happening and why it's working. Last piece of advice is to
The last piece of advice is to enroll in the class. That's the last piece of advice. Man, how do you feel watching that, man, after 2 years?
Now.
You said what?
I was curious what the last piece of advice there was too. Gotta go back and watch that myself.
You gotta go back and watch it yourself. Man, how do you feel watching that now after like, man, two and a half years, man?
You know, those are things that I do every day and think about every day, zooming in and zooming out. Like that's, you know, it's a way to describe this, this process of like, okay, the little things don't matter unless they fit into the big picture. Right. So, so keeping your focus on the big picture, but you have to be able to identify the details that create the big picture. And so that's that whole process of, you kind of got to dig in real deep on some stuff and figure some stuff out on a real nitty gritty basis.
Yeah.
And also you can't care about that stuff. You have to care about the big picture. So the little stuff only matters in context. And I love that. And then listening to other people's work and studying is just, that's how we grow. That's how we get inspired. That's how we have perspective on our own work. That's, I don't know. We kind of have to be listening to other music and to other mixes and do the work for sure.
Very good. Man, so good, man. And I totally agree. And like I said, that's why I wanted to play that, man. And then, like you said, so people can get a chance to see the pandemic here and really see what we had to go through.
It's a good look, right? Come on.
And your setup is so different now. It's so much different because now, you know, you're more minimalist and you're also more speakers, less desk, more speakers, right? You know?
Yes. Yeah. The transition to a fully Dolby Atmos enabled room, you know, helped me refocus and pare down what I was not needing and focus on what I did need. And that only leads to better creativity too. So
it does.
Always thankful for the processes.
That's probably why I can't get clarity over here because I got too much crap over here, right? It's too much stuff to keep me distracted. And so I need to probably just go down to like just one desk with one screen on it instead of like 96 things around here and all of this crazy crap I got going on. Maybe I'll be able to win a Grammy next year if I do that.
Whatever works for each person. You know, my focus and clarity looks different than someone else's focus and clarity. Definitely. But yes, I like to keep it concise for sure. So granted, I have way too many plugins. Don't look at that. That's my version of your too many desks and screens. But
right.
Yes.
Man, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. And so speaking of your Atmos setup, part of the class we did an extensive deep dive into your mind and your thought process around Atmos, the future of Atmos, where you think it's going, how you think we got here, why you invested into some of the stuff that you have invested in, the equipment that you invested in. I mean, we did a whole walk around your entire studio and talked about every piece of equipment that you have and how it's implemented and working into your setup and building that. So that is a deep part of the class. So I have a snippet because there's a 2 hour plus. So we have the whole entire spiel is like 6+ hours worth of content, where we have 3 hours or so of mixing, and then we have another 3 hours or so of just detail and talking, studio tour. We sit down and, like I said, we talk through Atmos. We talk. I even got the person. It was so crazy that happened that day. I have the person, Lucius Hawkins. I said his name right. That was the very first person who ever hired you to mix a record outside of Yash. And he happened to walk in the door the day that I was there. And I was like, oh, no. You got to sit down and y'all got to talk about this. And so we were able to get that in there. So you guys get to hear C Blass sit down and talk to the person who was his very first mix client, which was a very cool moment for one. And also I was just blessed to be able to capture that, crystallize that, to have those two people in the same room together at that moment, so spontaneous, and them to have a conversation about what that was like, working together for the first time. And Blass really gets into the heart of like what it was like when he first started mixing, and those struggles, and how he got his first clients, and all the way up to getting his first, Todd Delaney and all of those people like that. So it's really good. So I got this snippet that I want to play from the podcast part, where we're talking about Atmos, and we're talking about like the cost of Atmos, and what it really costs to kind of get into the game and stuff like that. And so I'm just going to play this little snippet. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Just going to play a little snippet here. That makes sense.
If you hate it, okay. Don't invest.
Yeah.
Don't invest.
I think
if you're like, man, I
important,
want to spend 300 grand, man, okay. I would not recommend mixing in headphones, but
Right.
you need to spend a lot of time in headphones anyway in Atmos.
Yeah.
So what if you start in headphones and then
That's a good
rent
point.
someone's room? Yeah, okay, that's expensive.
Yeah.
It's like a nice plug-in not on sale at UAD. Right?
You have to understand, learn the format, fall in love with the format, and believe in it ultimately. And then the investment, the cost barrier. Yeah.
100% not a cash grab.
Yeah. I know.
Every time I take an Atmos mix, I'm losing money.
Talk. So that's all I want to give you guys. We're not going to give you too much in that realm. Again, you got to jump in to hear the rest of that conversation. You got to jump in, and you got to be able to hear what it is, because Blass has an absolute insane Atmos setup, and it's minimalist. It's crazy. It's like an oxymoron, right? It's minimal but insane at the same time. Like, how do you have those two things happening? But he accomplished it, and he goes deep into his process on that, man. And it was a pleasure to be able to sit down with you and really pick your brain around all things mixing, all things Atmos, and really give people, I think, a holistic perspective on what it takes to get into that and why it's the future, man. And I think that's awesome, man. Anything you want to kind of add to that?
Yeah, well, I do want to be clear. Like the mixing course is stereo mix that we did. So don't just so you know, don't jump in.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh, I'm not doing Atmos. I don't care, whatever. But we did talk about it quite extensively. First of all, because it's as you see over my head, I have speakers everywhere in here, and so it's sort of a natural thing to be discussing when you're in the space, and also it's a lot of where my head is right now when I'm thinking about mixing, and when I'm thinking about the future. What I'm working on and studying is immersive audio, and I do believe in the future of the format. And so so we talked about it a lot, because I think it's really fascinating and an important new frontier of mixing.
It is. And like he said, it's a stereo class. We talk primarily, the main mixing part is stereo. We're planning to hopefully come back later and really dig deep into Atmos, but we wanted to kind of get into the minutia of it, because like you said, that's where your setup is now. And I thought it was really good to like really talk about it, because there's a deep degree of understanding that has to go into building an Atmos room, mixing in Atmos. Blass, I think you talk about it in the pod. You took a class on the actual official Dolby class through Avid, their whole certification program. So you're certified as a Dolby Atmos engineer, and that took time and money. So I think, especially if people are just trying to get into mixing, and you're really just you want to kind of wade the water and kind of, get out there, ease your way out there instead of just jumping, never swam before and just jumping straight out into the ocean of that is Atmos. We thought it would probably be a little bit more digestible to give everybody a stereo class, because largely that's still what the industry is. But I think Atmos is the future.
Yeah, well, first of all, I do think like that's a large reason we did stereo is because I'm still mixing in stereo most of the time,
Yeah.
and my guess is that most of you are as well.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, like I talk about it in the podcast too, but the you talked about like jumping into the deep end with Atmos, and like
Yeah.
that's one thing that I really stress is like this is not some sort of exclusive. I know people get very scared about the high barrier to entry with Atmos, and speakers aren't cheap when you're buying 11 of them. Yeah. But also I talk about how to get started without spending all the money, and how I got started before I had all these speakers, and
True.
And even if you're not ready to pull out the checkbook and jump into the ocean, like there are plenty of ways to start learning the system and deciding what you think about it, without spending all your money on it. So yes. No. To me, this is all about, everyone should be learning and growing in it, and this is an inclusive thing. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely think it's for you, since seeing your setup and since sitting down and really getting into the depth of it with you, it really opened my brain up, and I'm trying to figure out like how I can even start possibly building the Atmos setup here in my studio to kind of start exploring the format my own self. But it's definitely like something I think all of us, not even just from the mixing perspective, but just even from production, because we talk about that in the podcast interview as well, about like just the importance of planning for it, even as a producer, as someone who's doing a live recording. Like if that's the format that it's going to, then you need to record with that form, because we record with stereo in mind. We put guitars on the left and this over here. I want another stereo patch of aux over here. So why not plan for that the same way for Atmos? If you're producing a record, if you know that format is going to be at the end of the road, like plan for it. Start exploring those things. There's tons of like spatial audio, like instrument plugins and stuff that are being developed now, to where you can even like play keys and do different things like that and route your software instruments into Atmos. So it's a deep well that I think we explored very deeply and probed deeply into in the class. Like I said, I think we got it's probably close to 3 hours worth of just dialogue on Atmos. So I think you'll get a real good picture of what Atmos is, and if it's something you want to dive into, and if you want to dive into it, how you can dive into it on the high end, and how you can dive into it, how you can play in the kiddie pool with it, so to speak. So I think it's really, really good. Sid Bass asked a question I wanted to highlight. He asked about your setup. Is it 9-1 or 7-1?
My current setup is 7-1-4.
7-1-4,
which is sort of like the it's not the minimum, but it's kind of a standard setup. 9. I might do that.
You thinking about going 9-1?
Next time, I'm thinking about 9-1-4. Yeah, 9-1-6 wouldn't make sense in my room, but and just for clarity, when we talk about 9-1-4 or 7-1-4, we're talking about how many speakers are around you.
Yeah,
and then the dot one is your speakers. LFE channel, and then the third number in that is your height channels. So yes, I have 7 around me and 4 overhead.
Yeah, so
7.1.4. Yeah, 11 speakers.
Crazy. Yeah. 11 speakers, and I'm still trying to learn 2. I'm still trying to learn how to mix with 2 and one in the
you
low.
and me both. Yeah.
But it's amazing. So how many more speakers would you need to go 9-1?
2.
Just 2 more. Oh, so you know.
Yeah.
At you, it's like Pokemon right now. You're just trying to collect them all and just add a couple more speakers back there and 9
Yes.
1.
Well, when you move up to 9, you get two more that are kind of like, I don't know how to get this on camera, but that are further wider than your left and
Gotcha.
right. And the more I work in it, the more I would like to have those. So,
Got
you
you.
know, the tricky bit for me is, okay, well then it's not just like, okay, buy a couple more speakers. It's okay, let's buy a couple more speakers and then get them placed exactly right and get the room retuned and
Yeah.
reset up for 9-1 and all that. So it's a bit of a time commitment and process as well as a financial process to buy more
Yeah.
speakers, and and cabling and all the things that go with buying more speakers, stands, all the things. So yeah, it's a process, and we'll see.
Yeah. I'm
Maybe a year from
excited,
now
man.
I'll be 914. We'll see, but yeah, but I'm thrilled with my 714 setup. That is the required like QC setup is 714.
It's 7 1.
So even if I'm at 914 to QC to quality check the
Yeah, you
final
still expect.
masters, you have to monitor in 714. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
crazy. See, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
See, the fact that just having to know those numbers, 7191 911 would be the number I would call to try to figure out what's going on here, because it just seems like I would have a heart attack trying to listen to all of those speakers at one time. But the fact that you are conquering the hill on that is just amazing, amazing to me. So I got one more exclusive clip that I want to play, and then we're gonna talk about something very, very dope that we're doing with the course, with this thing that we've never done here at Gospel Producers, with any of our courses and any of our instructors and stuff. We're doing something very, very amazing. But I want to play this clip first to let you guys see this is a exclusive piece of the class, the mixing part of the class in stereo, not in Atmos, but an exclusive part. So you kind of get to see what song that Blass works on in this class. And it's by I always say his name wrong. Javonta Patton.
Javante
God,
Patton. Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
Tennessee. Javonte Patton,
Yeah.
featuring Hezekiah Walker. So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to play this clip for you guys. And then again, you guys can enroll in the class now. It is completely open. Let me put this QR code up. You can scan this QR code right, if I can get my camera right there. We'll try to point to it right there. You can scan this QR code. It will take you straight to the website. Now, listen, if you're watching on the phone, you can screenshot this. I bet you didn't know this. You could screenshot this on your phone, go into your camera roll afterwards and tap it, and it will take you to the website. So whether you're watching on the computer, scan it with your phone. If you're watching on your phone, screenshot it. Then after you finish watching the class, watching this live or whatever, you can jump straight off, go into your camera roll, tap it. It's going to take you straight to the website. I know it works on iPhone. I don't know about you Android users. I can't comment to whether or not that's going to work. You might have to scan it if you use Android. But for iPhone, I know I can confirm that it does work for iPhone. All right, so let's jump into this other exclusive clip from the site, and then we're gonna dig into some good stuff. All right, here we go.
Hey, my name is Jon Blass, and we are here in my personal mix room to go over a mix that I did for an artist named Javonte Patton, based out of Minneapolis. This is a live gospel record, and it features Hezekiah Walker. I thought this session would do a nice job to showcase kind of what we do in the mixing process here and how we got this record to where it ended up. It presents some interesting challenges and also was a good recording, handled well, produced well. It was produced by Javonte and Morgan Turner. Let's get started and see where we end up. I pulled open here the original session. This is what was sent to me, complete with, not everything being exactly ready, right? Like, so I'll kind of show you that a little bit, but let me just play a little bit of it for you. I don't have a rough mix of the song, which is normally where I start. And generally, if I don't have a rough mix, I am pestering the producer for that. But on this song, it was not the first song I mixed on the album, and I kind of had a good idea of where I was going, and I didn't bother. I knew where I wanted to be already. So here is, I'll just play some of it. We won't listen to the whole thing, but I'll play a few sections. Can kind of hear the song and hear where we started.
Okay. Hey. Here we go. Ask him a question. Say, why would you worry? Why would you worry about the things you're going through? Come on and say, when God is already. When God is already proving himself. Proving himself to you. Come on, ask him again. Say, why would you worry about the things you're going through? When God is already. When God is already proving himself to you. And here's the best part. He'll do it again. He'll do it again. You ought to shout.
Let me skip ahead a little bit.
You ought to get encouraged right there. We got a prophetic word for you. And I want you to give that praise and sing it with us. Here we go. Yeah. You can't quit. You can't quit. Oh, yes, sir. And you can die. You can die. Because God can. Because God. His hand is on your life. Hand is on your life. I came to encourage you that you can't quit. You can't quit. And this is not the end of your story. You can't die. But the hand of the Lord is on your life. Because God. His hand is on your life. You can't quit.
Let me just break down a little bit of like what we have happening here. These are already organized into kind of the different groups of instruments, but we have drums, of course. That's all these blue ones. We have a loop. We have Morgan's bass, a Nord keyboard, a couple of guitars, this one, and this one. We have 2 mics on a Leslie from the organ. We have a synth. Another synth. We have some orchestra hits. This track stem is a blend of some aux keys that they used for the live recording. So I just have a 2 mix of that. And then we have Javante's lead vocal. We have a background vocal stem, and then we have the background vocals, which do not match the stem. In this case, they had edited the song with a 2-track of the vocals. I asked for the multi-track of the vocals and had to edit those to match, which was totally possible. Then we have live background vocals, which are these.
Because God's hand is on your life.
And then lastly, we have room, which in this session, I'm missing one of those files. Don't remember why, but we got it. And that's it. So pretty straightforward instrumentation for a gospel song. And also a pretty good recording, no real issues with it. You'll also notice I said the song He'll Do It Again features Hezekiah Walker, and there is no Hezekiah Walker here, right? So we'll get into that as well. There were some changes in production after we began on this one. So let me close that and pull up the mix session. Okay, so here we are in the mix session. You'll see at the top it's called He'll Do It Again, Hez version mix 2. That was the final approved mix. And I have the printed mix in the session as I always do, Normally I have the rough mix as well. I do have the rough mix for the praise break later in the song, but not for this one. But typically I have the rough mix here so I can constantly reference it. It goes out a second output, so I can, on my monitor controller, just switch back and forth between Pro Tools, my mix, and the rough mix. So I can know where we are, what they were hearing, what they wanted to hear, what was speaking to them in the song. The rough mix should give a really good indication of that, even if it's not like the best sonic integrity or if it doesn't sound like a record. Hopefully it at least gives me the idea of what they wanted. So let's hit play on this real quick. We'll just listen.
And that's where we'll stop that at, because that's where it starts to get into a lot of the goodies, and Blass really breaks down his process from start to finish and how he mixed that record. And you get to see a live record, you know what I mean, something that was recorded live, and all of the intricacies and issues and problems that you have to solve when it's dealing with live records, because most gospel records nowadays are live records for the most part. So there's a lot of unique problems you have to solve with that, and Blass shows how to solve those. And also what I think is cool, the fact that you showed how, you know, the session you got, the initial session you got to mix was just, it didn't include Hezekiah Walker, but then they came back and added him in post, you know, so which presents a whole nother set of challenges. And so you show very intricately how you were able to blend in a post recording from an artist and make it feel like it was a part of that live recording. Like if nobody didn't, they wouldn't know Hezekiah wasn't on that record, like wasn't live on that record with them, unless they went to the actual live recording. Those are the only people that know. Okay, Hez wasn't there that night, but everybody else were none the wiser. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and that's a kind of unique, I mean, not completely unique, but like that's not common to like add an artist after the fact on a live recording. But what is really common is to overdub some things, you know, fix some lead vocals here and there.
That's very common.
Change some things, like, you know, replay a piano or whatever, and that presents the same exact challenge. And this was a very live recording. Like, there was not a lot of fixing and replacing and all. Like, this was a very it was live. It really was. And so I thought that this adding showcasing the addition of Bishop Walker was a good way to show like what I have to deal with on a near daily basis with a tuned vocal, a replaced vocal, you know, a piano flub that hit right in the middle of a gap where nothing is there to cover it, you know, that got fixed. And it's all that same issue of how do you hide what needed to be fixed or changed, and create the vibe and the feeling of that live recording. So that's always the goal of a live recording, right? It's like you kind of want to put the listener into that space. They need to, I don't know. When you're at a live recording or a concert or a church service, even, like the emotion and the feeling in the room doesn't easily translate to your headphones or your car or your kitchen speakers.
Not at all.
And yet that's what we're trying to create, is that emotional space, that emotional reaction. And so, that's what we're constantly seeking and trying to recreate for a wide range of listeners, not just whoever got to be in that room that night.
That's so good, man. That's so good. That's so good, man. Let's see. We had a couple of comments. Great work. Yes, thank you so much. Keith Key says, thank you for choosing a live record.
Gotta show the hard stuff, Keith.
Gotta show the hard stuff. You know, that's the easy stuff when they took 9 weeks to record it in the studio. Gotta say, you would cut it right when he about to start. Thank you so much for wanting to buy it this week. That's awesome. Let's see. I had a couple of other ones. I favored it as it was going on. What did I miss? Okay, let me see here. Trevor says, okay, I'm sold. Before watching the live, let me get this off the screen too, because this is in the way. There we go. I was sold before watching the live, but now I'm really sold on purchasing this mix course. Awesome. Thank you so much, Trevor. I think this one was from earlier, Blast. I think it was having to do when you were talking about the 7191 situation. But Bradley had said, he was talking about how does the average listener benefit from that?
Yeah, from Dolby Atmos. Yes. So this is, and something we definitely get into on the podcast too, because this is a big sticking point, is like, okay, why are we doing this if no one, like, the average listener is not going to go put up 11 speakers in their living room or their kitchen or wherever to listen to this, right? Nor would I. Like, I'm not like that. So to me, the reality of where Dolby Atmos is that it is constantly entering the market in new ways, and is already in the market in a large number of ways. So if you have a Sonos soundbar on your TV, you're going to be hearing Atmos. If you play music through it, Apple Music or something like that through it. Same if you have the Amazon Echo Studio, the more expensive version of the Echo, which a lot of people listen to music on the cheaper version of the Echo. How long is it going to be before Atmos is integrated into that? I don't know, but it always trickles down, right? So, and even in cars, like Mercedes, BMW are releasing cars with Atmos in it. How much longer before that's in the Corolla? Is the Corolla still a thing? I don't even know. It's going to be in the Ford Focus. So
soon, the Kia,
like
it's going to be in all of them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's going to continue to trickle down. But even right now, if you have AirPods, and you are listening to Apple Music, spatial audio is the default. You're not going to hear the stereo mix unless you choose to hear the stereo mix. You're going to hear Apple's spatial audio version of the Dolby Atmos mix. And that's, I think, true for Amazon too. I can't remember that they default to Atmos. Spotify's still the big name in town, and they are not doing Atmos yet. But the reality is that it's already here, and it's already being integrated into home stereo systems and all that. I don't expect any listener to be pumped about this and to go buy a bunch of speakers. If you're going to set up more than a speaker, my guess is you're doing it for watching movies and stuff too. But I've listened to spatial audio on a sound bar with 2 Sonos speakers behind you too. That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's incredible. And there's no setup to that. You're not running wires. You're plugging in 3 speakers. That's it. Turn it on, and that's it. And it just does it. And that's why I believe in the future of Dolby Atmos, is because it isn't going to require any effort on the part of the consumer.
Yeah,
it's being implemented, I guess, into your house without you really seeking it out. Into your lives. And honestly, I don't even care if you're that excited about it, or if you hear it and you're like, wow, that's amazing. I honestly believe that most people aren't really going to care that much. I also kind of think that in 5 years, they're going to hear something that's not Atmos and go, why does that sound old? So I get the argument, and also I think it's coming faster and more easily than you think. And it doesn't have the same barriers that 5.1 had, that Quad had. It's not surround sound. It's a completely different thing. So, immersive audio is, in my opinion, the future, because it simplifies the implementation.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And like you said, we get into that, and Bradley said thanks. So I guess you explained it.
I love that question, Bradley.
Yeah, man. I think it is. I think it's slowly being integrated into our, normative. They take it bit by bit, and each year they're inching And so eventually it becomes normal, like just like cell phones. When touchscreens first came out, everybody was like, when the iPhone first was the first full touchscreen phone, it was like, this is crap. Then slowly but surely, companies kept implementing touchscreens and making them bigger and bigger and getting rid of buttons slowly but surely. And then when Apple got rid of the headphone jack, everybody, cried foul. And then now you're hard pressed to find a phone with a headphone jack on it. It's just not normative anymore. You're going to listen to audio in some wireless way. And I think Atmos is going to creep up on us the exact same way. Like you said, we're going to look back 5 years from now and it's going to be like, this sounds weird. Like, why does this? Yeah, oh yeah, my grandfather used to listen to stuff like that. Yeah, I remember, like when he had 2 speakers. Yeah, that was weird. But no, that's so cool, man. Let's see, a couple of other things popped up relative to the course.
Yeah.
Sid said, is the mixed course in the box or is some outboard gear being used?
This is in the box, Sid.
Completely in the box.
No outboard gear is being used. I have 0 outboard gear in my studio. This is all in the box.
All in the box. All in the box.
Yeah.
And then Musictron said, are there any multi-tracks included? We wanted to do that, but we weren't able, just for legal reasons, to be able to distribute these particular multi-tracks for this particular song. However, this is a great segue to talk about what the special announcement that we wanted to make about this course. We weren't able to do multi-tracks, but we are opening up a special opportunity, and we did a video for this. So I'm going to play this. This is Blass telling you about his exclusive opportunity that we're only offering to a select number of people. Check it out.
Hey, this is Jon Blass. Alongside my gospel producers mixing class, we're opening up for 25 people the ability to get personalized feedback on one of your mixes. You'll submit your mix, I will listen to it in my own space, in my studio, provide feedback directly to you. In addition, if you purchase at this level, you'll be invited to participate in the exclusive Ask Me Anything virtual session with me, where the whole group will get to sit and talk about mixing. You can ask questions. I will talk to all of you directly and spend time discussing how mixing works and the problems we run into and how to do this better. Click the link in my bio or scan the QR code to gain access to this class.
All right, so as you saw, there's an exclusive opportunity that we are opening up for 25 individuals who are interested at doing this at a higher level. That, you don't just want the class, you want a little bit more personal interaction with Blass. And again, we've never done this before in any of our courses. This hasn't been something that we have offered before, but we wanted to take this opportunity to offer something exclusive that we've never done before. And so for a certain amount of people, I'm gonna switch over to my screen here. You can join what we call, because we have 2 tiers. So there's tier 1 that is $149. Where you just get the class, and we'll scroll down here so you can see it's all on the page. You will get, and let's zoom in a little bit here. You'll get over 3 hours of video lessons. This is tier 1. You'll get 12 video lessons, over 3 hours of video lessons going deep into Blass's award-winning process and approach. And if I scroll down here, you can actually see the lessons that are included and in this particular class. You'll be able to look in and tap in and kind of see the ones that are included in what those, this is all on the launch page. You'll be able to see all of those descriptions of what's offered in those lessons. And this all comes with tier 1. You're also going to get 4 hours of bonus content. This is a 2-hour exclusive interview with Jon Blass. We're going to talk through, like we talked about earlier, we're going to be talking through spatial audio, Dolby Atmos, how to get into it, what the cost is, so many different things. We're going to be looking inside of his studio, talking about all of his equipment, why he uses it, what he uses, and you also get to meet the first person, we talked about that ever hired Blass to mix up. So it's over 4 hours of bonus content. I even have an upcoming video that's going to drop in the class next week for those who have it, with Morgan Turner, the producer of the song. Morgan Turner sat down with us and recorded him actually walking through the production process of this song. So he walks through everything he did to arrange and produce this song all the way up to the live recording to where it got handed off to Blass's hands. And that is an additional hour and a half of content that'll be added to the class within the next week. So you get that for all of that for $149. And then tier 2, which this is what we just got through talking about. You get the same thing that's in tier 1, the 12 video lessons, all of that. But you also get an exclusive Ask Me Anything with Jon Blass. We're going to set this up for everyone who gets in at this tier. We're going to do a exclusive online Zoom style where you guys will be able to jump in and ask questions. I mean, ask anything. If you want to know what he had for breakfast, you can ask him. He might not answer you, but you can ask him anything. It doesn't say that he's going to answer you anything, but you can definitely ask him anything. But we're going to get him in for Ask Me Anything. That we'll talk about the class materials, talk about everything within there, and how it's anything that you guys want to know, deep questions about mixing. We're going to take our time and really answer those. And then the big part, what we just talked about, is the mix critique. So you guys will get the opportunity to submit a mix to Blass. You'll be able to submit a mix to him, and he's going to listen to it, and he's going to give you direct personal. Now that will be personal. Ask Me Anything will be grouped with everybody. We'll get your questions. We'll all sit in at a certain time. We'll coordinate the schedule, and we'll all get together on a day that's convenient for all or most. And then we will answer those questions. But then the personal mix critique will be submitting that song to Blass to listen to. And he will give you personal feedback on how you can improve your skills. And that is our ultimate offering. And you will be able to get that. I don't think I showed it on screen. You'll actually be able to enroll in that for $249. And we only have 25 slots available on that. We're only opening that up for 25 people. So if you want to get in on that, you can enroll at that level, and you can get access, that level of access. We weren't able to include any multi-tracks, but we were able to come up with this offering. And we also, as another bonus, I'll say this, and we're gonna drop this later. It'll be added to the class later. We're working on a workbook for this class. It's an actual mixing workbook that goes through, and it's a companion workbook to the class. We're working on it. It's still in process. We thought we would have it done by this date, but we weren't able to land it for the actual class launch. But anybody who buys the class, once the workbook comes out, you will get access to the workbook for free. It will not cost you anything extra to get the workbook. All right. So that is our offer. Anything you want to add to that, Blass, in terms of, what they get or what to expect?
I had breakfast tacos this morning, so that's the important question. I made tacos for the family this morning. Yeah, I think I would like this limit of 25 people is intentional because this is something that it takes time, and it takes it's something I care about, right? Like, this isn't like, let my assistant listen to it and tell me what this, like, I'm going to be listening to it, and I'll be like recording a little video for you, and sending an email with like my thoughts and my suggestions, and like this is something I care about. Like, I don't want to just do this half-heartedly. So we had to set a limit because it takes time. Anyway, I want to engage at that level. The whole point of this is to provide value for mixers and producers here so that you guys can get better at your craft. And I really want this to be that. So I want to provide something that actually helps you get to the finish line faster and better, and takes you to the next step of where you need to be in your career. So yeah, that's why we're doing that. And that's my heart behind it. I really do want this to actually be beneficial for you all.
Yes. And that was our heart, all about it, trying to give you guys extreme value for that space, because like you said, it's too many courses out there where they just say, here's the videos, here, take this. Thank you. Give us your money. Here's some information and peace. But we wanted to offer something that was a little bit more personal, because I believe personally, this is my whole mission behind Gospel Producers as a whole. I believe in the art of internship. I believe in the art of sitting with people and really understanding their process, like from a personal thing. I think that there's some things that are taught that you can give somebody the information and they can easily take that information and go do something or create something with it. I can give you information on how to make brownies and the ingredients with it, and you can easily take that information and go make brownies. But being able to sit with, Duncan Hines, the person who actually, creates, the best, or whoever creates the best brownies in the world, and being able to sit with them and really ask them how to make the best brownies is a different level of interaction and a different level of value. And Blass is a huge product of that, because you sat with John Yash for what, five years, was it?
5 years, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so
That's exactly
having
right.
that hands-on is what has brought you to where you are now. And I'm not sure what happened to Blass. Oh, there he is. He's back. Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah,
Tried to clear a notification so I could see you.
gotcha.
Not that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're a product of that, of being able to sit with someone who's working in the field and really get that, him being able to tell you what's the right, the wrong, what are you doing wrong, what's the direction you need to go in with this, and how a kick drum is supposed to sound, and how vocals, where a lead vocal is supposed to sit, or how to make this better. And that's invaluable, and that's what I really am trying to kind of transmute through our platform to our people who connect with us.
Yes. To more people than one-on-one, right? Like that's the advantage of something like gospelproducers.com, is if we can create as much of that experience as we can
Yes.
to more people, then everybody wins. And that's a good thing. Yeah.
Love it. Let's see, we've got a few other things here that popped up, and let's see here. That's a question from earlier. Sorry, ignore that. That's from earlier. I didn't clear that out of my favorites. Let's see where we are. I'm getting the course 2. Yes, awesome. Thank you. And let me put the QR code up. I always forget to put this up. Here we go. Just in case you guys want to get in case you missed it earlier. Jeremy Allen says, one of the greatest gospel mixing engineers of our time, I'm sure he's talking about you, has no outboard gear in his studio. That gives me so much hope as an engineer. So there you have it.
Jeremy, let me just tell you, like, the biggest pop guys in the world, most of them don't have any outboard gear anymore either.
Yeah.
So yes, have lots of hope, because you don't need an SSL to make a hit record. So
that's so good, man. You don't. This is too awesome. Ask me any question. Come on. Let's see. So if I wanted to buy shares in immersive audio, who should I go to for advice? Your financial analyst.
Not me.
Start there. The bank. I'm not sure if there's any companies. I'm pretty sure we could do some digging and find out. I don't know if there's any companies, like, I don't know if Dolby's on the stock market or anything like that. I know Avid was, but they just sold off, and so they're no longer on the stock. They went private, so they're no longer on the stock market. I was lucky to have some shares in Avid, but they're no longer on the stock market, so I'm not sure about that one. Let's see. This is awesome. Going to get this course. Thank you so much. Stephen Mixon says, purchase. Let's go. Man, thank you so much, man. I gotta find my air horn. Where's my air horn at? I don't know if it's on there. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right button. That might have been the thing. I can't hear it. Let's see what else here. See, it says, nice work, guys. Well, this will help a lot of engineers. So let's get it. Awesome. So that's what it's about. This is what it's all about. Let me make sure I got all of the questions out of the way, and then we're gonna get up out of here, guys. Get ready to buy new plugins that are not in your toolbox. Yeah, he does show all of the plugins that he's using.
Yeah. Oh, we opened them all up. There's no secrets on this, but hopefully hopefully you don't have to spend too much money. But I do
Yeah,
show
you
I
pulled
do
up a
show
lot of
some
things, and I
plugins
was
that I
like,
just really
that
love.
looks
Like,
good. Then I went and
yeah,
looked at the price,
there's
like
some
while I'm editing, I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And then I pulled up the price, like, not right now. Let me see what I can find as an
there's some good ones that
alternative. Let
aren't
me
that
see, wet
expensive
dry
though.
was
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
Trying to
There's some
figure
great
that
ones
out.
on there that there's some are pricey, some aren't, but
Yeah,
it's there's lots of ways to do what
yeah,
we're doing, and if you don't happen to use the same EQ as I do, like you can still get there. You can
yeah.
still get there.
And that's stressed a lot in the class. You stressed that a lot about you
Hmm.
don't have to use this EQ, but I have this
Hmm.
EQ because it's the tool that I know the best, and the best tool to use is the one that you know. If you don't know how to
Yes.
use a Pro Q3, if you don't understand all of the features of Pro Q and how the dynamic EQ works and soloing bands and getting real surgical and all of the intricacies of that plugin, if you don't know it, but you know the stock EQ pretty good, then you start with the stock EQ. There's no reason to go buy Pro Q
Absolutely.
just because that's what Jon Blass uses. You got to know what an EQ does. And I think Jon does an amazing job showcasing the power of just what he's doing and why he's doing it versus just do this. And I think that's
Yeah.
powerful.
It's not about the plugin, and it's not about the tool. It's about the principles about why you're using that particular tool or that
Yeah.
plugin. So yeah, if I hopefully translated well why I'm doing what I'm doing, you can do it with any plugin. Absolutely, you can get there.
Yeah, it's so dope, so dope. Let's see. In the box, Clifton, he's Yasha's assistant. He said,
That's me all the way. Yes,
yes, Cliff said in the
in the
box
box
all
all
the
the
way.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, all the way, sir. Let me see. I think we got a few more here, and then we're gonna get out. Do you guys offer feedback on other genres of music like worship, CCM, in the mix critique
Sure.
session? Yeah,
Yeah. There's no genre. I don't know. I don't care.
yeah,
If you work in country music, send me your country record. Absolutely. Yeah, I will provide my perspective. And honestly, like, a lot of gospel music is in the worship music and CCM space.
yeah.
Less CCM, more worship, but I get the chance to work on some CCM records here and there too. Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's about music, not any one particular. So yeah, no rules on that.
No rules on that. That's good. Let's see. Can we translate this class into live sound?
I can't. Sorry, Donovan.
I think it could be. I mean, there's some
I
universal
Yeah.
concepts. There's some pretty
Oh,
universal
sure.
concepts
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that deal
yes,
with mix.
absolutely. Just in how we handle audio in general, for sure. But I'm not a live sound engineer, and haven't run a live show or live console in a long time. But yes, the principles and how we handle the audio and that kind of thing, for sure. Yes,
Yes, awesome. When
yes.
is the course available? It is available right now, right? Absolute, positively, right now at this moment. You can scan that QR code. Right, gosh, cameras. It's backwards on my side. So
Yeah.
just know that I'm trying to coordinate my brain. That's that QR code, the little thing on the screen with all of the funny things on it. Scan that, and you'll be right back up on that. It'll take you straight to the class. I'm sure Blast will be back in just a second.
Am I
There
back?
he is.
Sorry.
And then let's see. He says he's going to get some Grammys in South Africa for South Africa. Okay. Here's to getting some
Let's
Grammys
go.
for South Africa. I guess he's congratulating you
Let's get
in what's
some.
called.
Come on, South Africa.
There we go. Travis said he purchased tier 1 and 2. Man, awesome, man. Thank you so much. So you guys are getting right in, man. Bradley said he just enrolled. Man, thank you so much. You guys are doing amazing. We appreciate the support. This helps us keep building these things out the way we are. Let's see. I just saw something else. Oh, this is another question. Did you get into acoustic treatment in all of this course? Did you talk about acoustic treatment? I think we talked about it in your studio tour a little bit, like
I think we did.
What you're using, how you had it treated, and showed that, but we didn't really, like, per se talk about the spec of acoustic treatment, like, you know, how thick the panel is and, you know, where to place it. We didn't talk about any of those particular things.
Right.
Oh, last question. It says,
Do then ask me anything, huh?
Yeah, that's right. We could get that in the Ask Me Anything. Yeah, just sign up and we'll get you on the Ask Me Anything on that. And then he can pull out a ruler during the Ask Me
I'm not
Anything.
an acoustician, but
yeah. All right, let's see. One more question for Blass. What's your favorite read from the list of books behind you? Or are they just for show? I added that.
No. I've read most of them. Some of them are textbooks from college, even. You know, I'm reading Rick Rubin's book right now, so it's on my nightstand instead of my my panels. But that one is my current favorite. It's really inspiring. For some humor and fun, you know, you can't really beat Mixer Man. That's you know. It's based on a true story, but from a, you know, big money session in the heyday of recording, or 80s or 90s or something. It's a lot of fun.
Mixer.
Yeah. What else is up there? Yeah. A lot of those are like some of them are just reference books, and a lot of them are like biographies, and, you know, a book about the Beatles, that kind of thing. So it's, you know, fun learning about the history of music and all that. But I do recommend the Rick Rubin book. I love that.
Yeah, he says, Winton says Mixer Man is hilarious. He says Mixer Man
It is.
hilarious.
It is. I haven't read it in a number of years, but it's, you know, some great stories.
How far can you get in this mixing industry with just stock plugins? Can one be a full-time engineer without bought plugins? My dog's Logic. I know a lot of people that are using stock plugins. I mean, just from large to small. There's no, I don't think, I mean, you could speak to it even deeper, Blast, but I don't think there's any rule that says you have to have this or have to have that. But
no, there's not. I think the limits are in the skills, not in the tools. And I think there are tools that enable you to do some things that the stock plugins probably can't. But I don't think about it as like, how far can I go without buying plugins? I think just go as far as you can until you feel like, you know what, I'm in need of another tool. And at that point, hopefully your business is working well enough that it makes sense to invest a little bit, but like, don't stress about it. Like, work until you don't watch my video and be like, oh, I have to buy this plugin and this plugin and this plugin, and then log into some other guy's video and have to buy this plugin. No, don't stress about that. Work on what you're doing, and when you feel like I'm running into a wall, demo something. See if that helps you break through the wall, and then maybe it's worth the, you know, $30 to $300 it is to buy it. So yeah,
that's so true.
Just depends on the plugin. So yeah.
They're tools at the end of the day. I mean, there's screwdrivers. This screwdriver does a screwdriver, and sometimes you need a drill, you know. If you know you need a drill, then you get a drill. If you don't need the drill, then keep using the screwdriver.
And even then, like, even if you have a drill, the drill that I have in my garage is not the drill that I would own if it was my full-time job to get out and drill screws 8 hours a day, right? Like, the tools have to be based a little bit on what you use them for. And mixing is my livelihood. This is what I do every day. And so, yes, I invest back into that business. And if my job was building decks, I would invest into some really nice screwdrivers, because it would make me do what I do better and more efficiently.
Doors of the church are open. I got nothing else past that. But yes, I agree. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that I cover every question, and then we're going to kick all of you guys out of here, and we're all going to get back to work for the day. Oh, there was one. I'm just trying to make sure I cover all the ones that have to do with the course. He says, does this course cover some part of recording? So like I said it earlier, this is going to be for everybody. This isn't just this is for all tiers. We sat down with Morgan Turner, the producer of the record. If you guys don't know who Morgan Turner is, just type him in, look him up. Dope producer, bass player. He actually produced, arranged, and was a big part of the recording aspect of the song that we talk about that we showcase in the mix on in the class. So I sat down with him for about an hour and a half, and he goes deep into the recording part of it, like the arrangement, the production, the players, the people who did how they prepped and prepared because this was a live recording. So he talks about how they prepped and got ready for the live recording. Now, we don't talk about the live recording, what mics were used and all of those things like that. It's not like a recording class. Now, if you're looking for a recording class, we actually have a God knows how many hour, like tons of hour course on the site from John Yash, who is Blass's mentor, called Recording and Mixing Gospel. And it's over 40 plus lessons on both recording and mixing. And he goes deep. I mean, we talk about recording drums, recording bass, recording guitars, all of the aspects, recording every type of instrument for a particular record that you can think of. And so if you're looking for something on recording, then that's probably going to be your best bet. But we do cover some aspects of the recording in this particular class, just not the actual technical press the record button recording part of the class, if that makes sense.
I would say, like, in this course, like, I don't have access to know what pre's and mics were used, like what they did. I don't know. So I couldn't speak to that. But what you will get from a mixing course, and I think, I don't know what I don't know what I said in this, but you will hear my opinions and my, like, what I'm trying to fix. Right. And so if you are a producer or a recording engineer, you know, to hear what the mixer is trying to correct also leads you in the direction of how you want to record something, right? So I do think there can be some value there, but I wouldn't want to mislead you and say, oh yeah, this is a recording class, because it's definitely not that. But there's value there for sure.
Yeah. And Clifton helped us out by putting that up on the putting that in the chat for you guys. That's the link to the recording class that we have on the website from Yash that you guys can go and grab or what have you. I see some other questions in the chat that have to do specifically with things that John does in his sessions and what other things. For those, you're gonna have to enroll in the tier 2 for the Ask Me Anything, because those are some Ask Me Anything questions, and this isn't the Ask Me Anything session. That is for the Ask Me Anything people who enroll in the Ask Me Anything tier. Then you get to ask him anything, and that's where we're going to kind of cut it off. So man, let me bring my music in, because that's always that, you know, that's how we do in the church, you know, like in order to get get the pastor off the stage, you know what I'm saying? Like they have to bring the music in. Let's see, where is it at? I think I got it here. There it is. All right, yep, everybody standing, you know, all of that good stuff. It's been fun. We've been on for about an hour, almost an hour and a half. It's been cool answering you guys this question. Again, you can scan the QR code right here, screenshot that, tap it in your camera roll afterwards, and it will allow you to, bring it back just a little bit, it'll allow you to get straight into the page where the class is, or you can just simply just go to gospelproducers.com. Links are also in the description of this video. They're in the description, in the chats, and everywhere. Make sure you check it out. Again, we're offering 2 tiers. One is $149. You'll be able to get the class, over 6 hour plus of content, plus some bonus content that's going to be added over the course of the next few weeks, and a workbook that we're working on. And then we have tier 2, only open for 25 people, only 25 people. and I think it's going to be less now, maybe 20 some people, maybe 22, 21. I hadn't looked at the numbers, but I know I saw a couple of people say that they did tier 2 while we've been on the stream. So that number is going down right now as we speak on that 25. So if you want to get in and do something special, get the 25, be a part of the 25. We're going to be doing some really special stuff with those people. We appreciate you, Blass, for taking out time out of your very, very busy schedule of mixing some of the top records that we haven't even heard yet. And so we thank you for taking out your time to, one, help us create this body of work, and two, to just sit down and chat with us today, man.
Man, I'm glad to be here and glad to engage with everyone on here. This is great. I love this. Let's talk more about mixing.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, we will talk to you guys later. Make sure you check out everything. We'll be out, and peace. We'll check you out. Thanks, Jon and Jon.
Thank you all.
Perfect way to end.
Bye.
All right.